SOAP protocol, Simple Object Access Protocol. So when the client sends a request to the web service, right, web service gives the response back. So the communication between the client and the web service happens through this protocol SOAP. Client will be sending a SOAP message, a request message, and web service will be replying a response message. So the message goes from the client to the web service and the web services sent it back, right. So that happens through this protocol. SOAP is a messaging protocol, right. SOAP talks about how the messages are sent between the client and the server. Okay, let's understand the details of this SOAP. It stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, right. The next step after knowing the method signature is to invoke it. In the previous video we have seen that once you know the signature, I am able to know the method signature using WSDL file. Once I know the WSDL file, now the next task is to invoke that particular method, invoke that particular web service, right. So that can be achieved using SOAP messages. Okay, it stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. SOAP messages, again, it is written in XML. It's also an XML based communication and sent to the web service over HTTP for the web service consumption. So message take whatever I want to hit, I want to send my input to that web service. I want to send my input to the web service. Web service will send the output back. How this input and output is carried using this SOAP protocol, right. So it defines a particular format in which the input is sent, and then the same format output is received, right. So the web service consumer or the client will be able to construct the correct SOAP messages based on the WSDL document. So I understood from that WSDL document that it has three functions. It is taking 4 variables as input. In this format, in this data type, I have to send my input request. By seeing that WSDL, I have to construct my SOAP message, right. So then I will get the response. So something like this. So when I am sending a request, the response will be something in the same XML format, right. From currency is USD and to currency is SGD. Okay, so this is just a small snapshot, but SOAP is a messaging protocol. It will carry your input and it will bring the output back to you, right. So it is again the structure of that SOAP looks something like this, right. We have a SOAP envelope. Again, you know the postcards, right. Postcards, we used to send envelopes, right. We used to write letters. Olden days we send letters to somebody, right. So we call it as an envelope. In envelope we will put the message. So there is an envelope. Inside that I will put a white paper. Which contains my message, and on top I will write the address. So it will be delivered to that particular location or that destination, the address what I have given. So in the same context we call it as SOAP envelope. It's kind of a wrapper or a cover on top of the message, and inside there is 2 blocks. One is header block, other is the body. Header and body, right. So what are these? Messages are seen as envelopes where the application encloses the data to be sent. Whatever I want to send the data, it is enclosed in a envelope. It has 3 parts. Envelope wraps the entire message which contains the header and the body. It's a wrapper, right. Then the header, it's an optional element with additional info such as security or routing. Okay, so header contains the route, how to deliver that to the destination. That route is given in this header. Okay, so it tells how to reach that particular destination, and body contains application specific data being communicated. The input which I want to send is kept in the body, right. So header is an optional thing, whereas body is mandatory because you are sending some input. Definitely it should have some what we call input. Without input you cannot invoke the web service. It depends on the WSDL document. WSDL document defines what input to send and what output you can expect. So there are 3 parts in SOAP message: envelope, header and body. Let's see a simple example of SOAP request. So SOAP request contains something like this. See, I am get stock price is the method which I am hitting, and I am giving the input as IBM. So there is a method get stock price in the web service. Web service is providing one service or one function or one method called as get stock price. So, the input what I am sending is IBM, right. So, this is in the body you see. I have the SOAP envelope opening and the SOAP envelope closing. Since header is optional, I did not include, and then I have SOAP body opening and SOAP body closing. In that, I am invoking a method and I am sending the input stock name, that is IBM. So, IBM is my input variable, right, it is my input data. And if you see the response back, so same envelope and envelope, body, body. In the body, I got the response, the price is 34.5. Right, the stock price is 34.5 rupees or $5, right. So, the SOAP request and response is same, it follows the same structure as this. Every time the request and response will have the same structure, envelope, then header and the body, right. So, body will contain the actual data, the input data and the output data, okay. So, request and reply. Now, how do I generate this? Do I have to write this? Okay, so for that we have some tools again. We have some tools. We have something, one very popular tool is SOAP UI. SOAP UI is one tool. What it does? You give the WSDL file. You give the WSDL file to the SOAP UI. It will generate a SOAP request for you. It will give you this message as it is. Here you change this input value and send the request. Right? It will be sent. The web service will take this as input, execute and give the response back to you. Okay, so the request and response look like this. Let's understand the SOAP based communication, how technically it happens. How does the communication between the two web services happens? So, in this, if you see, there is a service requester, he wants to send a remote procedure call, RPC. Okay, so from some program, from some service, or let's say some service, I want to call a RPC, I want to make a remote procedure call. The service is located in some other network or some other place, right. So, this service requester is trying to make a RPC call. That RPC call, see, can I send an RPC request to web service? I cannot, right. So, what we do? We give that RPC call to a SOAP engine. The SOAP engine takes that RPC call and converts that into a SOAP message. Okay, it converts that into a SOAP message. Then that SOAP message using HTTP that is sent to the web service. So, HTTP post method takes that request, right. That request contains the SOAP message. You see, envelope, header, body, everything is there in that HTTP post method. So, the HTTP post method is carrying that whole SOAP message and giving it to the service provider. So, the service provider again takes that and gives to SOAP engine. SOAP engine will extract the actual procedure, the actual thing which he wants to execute. It will execute and give back the response back, right, gives the response back. So, you see, HTTP acknowledgement. So, the web service gives back the response. Even in the response, it is in the SOAP message format only, and it is sent back to the requester, right. So, this is how it happens. In simple terms, let me explain. See, SOAP is the letter content. The letter content, I am writing a letter, right. So, that is my SOAP message. The letter content is my SOAP message, and the HTTP is the postal service. It is the postal service. So, you know, I write a letter, postal service is the one which actually carries it to the destination. So, that is my HTTP. It will carry my letter, it will carry my message or the letter to the provider. Okay. Then the procedure here, the person who reads and replies, this is the actual procedure. This is what I want to give my input. This is the someone whom I want to give this letter. So, procedure here, the procedure is someone who will read my message, read and reply my message. Again, the same postal service HTTP will send back the response, right. So, the reply letter written by this procedure is given back to me through the same postal service to the requester, right. I am writing a letter, that letter is carried by HTTP. So, the SOAP message is carried by HTTP. HTTP will take that SOAP message and give it to the provider where the procedure is located. Procedure is somebody who will read my message and reply. He will write another reply letter. That reply letter is again carried by the HTTP back to the source. back to the requester, right. So this is the process of how SOAP protocol works for communication between the web services. Thank you.